is the place I live in, and I know the most. British Columbia. With the pretty views and wild animals, British Columbia is the best living place in the world. The alarm wakes me up at the same time every day, and it does not work as always. I am a normal busy citizen. I use clean water directly from water tap. I am a normal busy citizen. There is nothing better than taking a shower in the morning with the best fresh water on earth. I am a normal busy citizen. When I open the curtain, the warm beams of sunshine tells me a new day has started. And I always feel so lucky to live in such a beautiful, beautiful place, British Columbia.
Welcome to the movie channel. The recent hot documentary Spoiled BC has a great response among the audience. The movie records life of a normal citizen of British Columbia 30 years ago. Life in BC was quite pleasing back then compared to what we have now. Anyway, back to our documentary. In the movie, the peaceful life of the main character was once challenged by an international program. Let's check it out.
One day, when I was searching online, I found an interesting news about Northern Pipeline. When I click into the page, the plan for the whole project pops out.
The plan is to pump over 500,000 barrels a day of unrefined bitumen from the Alberta tar sands over the Rocky Mountains and across the heartland of BC to the port of Kitimat. From there, some of the world's largest oil tankers would set sail along BC's rugged coast, through the Great Bear Rainforest, on their way to China and the United States. Dubbed the Northern Gateway Pipeline.
The Northern Gateway Pipeline is a proposal to construct twin pipeline to import natural gas condensate. It is a double-edged sword. To most regions it passes by, especially for British Columbia, with two main aspects: its economic benefits and its environmental risks. It is said that in 30 years, the project will contribute 2.6 billion governmental tax, create 6,000 temporary working spots, 550,000 barrels of crude per day, and last but not least, 270 billion net income, and therefore benefits Canada as a whole. As for its environmental risk, it can also not be ignored. Here's a video of these three main concerns.
Cross over 1,000 rivers and streams. 2. The dangers of introducing oil supertankers for the first time to this part of the wild BC coast. And 3. The fact the project would facilitate the rapid expansion of the tar sands, hooking emerging Asian economies on the world's dirtiest oil.
Although most part of the pipeline is buried underground, as it passes by rivers and lakes, there is a large possibility that it will spill. And as there are so many oil spilling incidents around the world, citizens, especially environmental groups, strongly reject the program.
There's a battle that brings between BC and Alberta, and both province opinions are clear. A survey taken in August last year indicates that more than 56% of BC citizens are against the project.
Pipeline as proposed is not a popular project in British Columbia. I think it would be unfortunate if we had a pipeline running through BC. Environmentally, I think it could be a real disaster.
I think that the potential disadvantages to the environment are much greater than the potential advantages to our economy.
While in Alberta, support for pipeline rises.
The nation in environmental policy and make sure that as we develop our resources, that they are done with the best intention of always improving, gaining on environmental policy, but also ensuring that what we do in research, we also share with other jurisdictions. And I was pleased to hear all the good work that you are doing on clean coal technology, because I really do think that there's such huge opportunity to bring our universities together, our research communities together, and see how we can constantly work with research, improve the environment, but also share that with other countries.
I think it's beneficial for Canada as a whole, if not Alberta. For the most part, we need it.
What's good for Alberta is good for Canada. And whether it's BC, Alberta, Ontario, Saskatchewan, we're all benefiting.
And nationally, it is politically awkward that Prime Minister is now taking sides.
His party is also hoping for more seats in BC. The government won't take sides publicly.
Markets will make decisions on whether or not projects go forward, but we also have to make sure that we've got that environmental assessment process that's credible, that your viewers are concerned about. We think we've got that balance right.
Leaving the fate of the Northern Gateway to be determined.
As for USA's attitude on the object, it was surprising to find the country was quite conservative on this issue.
So to be extra careful that the construction of the pipeline in an area like that wouldn't put the health and the safety of the American people at risk. Our experts said that we needed a certain amount of time to review the project. Unfortunately, Congress decided they wanted their own timeline. Not the company, not the experts, but members of Congress who decided this might be a fun political issue, decided to try to intervene and make it impossible for us to make an informed decision.
And I keep thinking that if even the US, which is going to benefit from the project, is hesitating on that, is it necessary to put our environment into risk in order to get economic benefits? Well, the sacrifice of the slight increase in economic mix is not only on the environment.
Executive VP Jeanette Holden says, for the First Nations, right now we have roughly what we believe is about $1 billion on the table for the First Nations along the route. And that's First Nations anywhere within 60 kilometers of the pipeline route.
If there was an oil spill, and there will be an oil spill, there's no doubt about that. When it happens, we won't be doing this right now. My whole way of life will be completely altered forever. That's where the Gitga'at people will, that would be the end of us.
I don't want to sacrifice that. That's my biggest fear, is that they'll allow it to go through, and then one day Hartley Bay is just going to be gone. We won't be able to fish, we won't be able to hunt, we won't be able to gather our berries and all the other foods that we need.
We need to value everything that nature provides to us so that generations in the future are going to be able to reap the same benefits that we have.
We're just so rich from the sea. Mm-hmm. The sea has provided well for our people.
Canadian project that is changing the Canadian experience. that is changing our politics, that's changing our economics, that's changing our international reputation abroad, that is changing everything we thought we knew about this country.
How are we going to tell other countries that they should be reducing fossil fuel consumption if we go forward and build this pipeline?
Everything is at stake here in this battle over the pipeline in BC's coast. Our international reputation, our constitution that protects Aboriginal title and rights, the democratic voice of the majority of British Columbians, and the last bastions of Canadian wilderness. What's at risk here is nothing short of one of the most spectacular places on Earth.
Choose to export the dirtiest oil in the world to the highest bidder, making the petroleum bubble last a few years longer? Or will we use this resource sparingly, as a strategic reserve, and a pathway to a cleaner, more renewable energy future?
Please do know that this is not a made-up fairy tale. This is a documentary, which records things that actually happens in our history. We have already known the consequence of massive pollution and damage to our environment, as we are living in a horrible circumstance now. If time can go backwards to 30 years ago, would you make a different decision?